Welcome guys to Economicstan. We have been inactive for quite some time, but yes, there have been some issues, and every organization goes through some of the issues, which we are not shying away from, and that's why we have, as promised, like we have promised for the budget thing. So we'll definitely bringing in this particular budget analysis and all the updates with you. So we are back with the budget session, and this time we are not doing it the most of the casual, the professional way, or you can say the more of a like a more technical aspect of it. We'll be dissecting it in our own way, and will get a more realistic opinion of how how a person particularly feels about this budget with her opinions. So completely based on research and all those stuff, all the basic of the all the notes of the FM is there. So our honorable FM has given the budget, and big congratulations to her because she has given the budget for the seventh time straight, and that's a record in it itself. So kudos to her. But we before going into all those things, we'll just point out a few things that this will be a long session. So stay tuned with us. Stay on with us for the entire podcast because you'll be learning a lot of things and you'll getting a lot of clarity on what exactly is there in the budget and what you should be worried about if you are going for your income tax next year or not. So all those things will be covered up in this podcast. So you don't need to be worried about this. That if this budget is going over on the top of my head, so forget about all those things. Secondly, we are also bringing certain updates to you, which might be, I don't know, which might not be very clear from the entire budget per se, but yes, we'll be clearing out all those things. Third, we'll also like to mention that please, if you could share this analysis with your friends and family, that will be definitely help us to bring you more analytical aspect of several other policies as well. So without wasting much more time, I would like to introduce you to Manish, who has been with us for for a long time, and he has been analyzing the budget for with us for I guess 3 years. This is the third time. Yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so I guess I don't need to give much introduction about Manish, but for our audiences, Manish, we'll have a small intro of yours, then we'll start off.
Hi, I'm Manish, and I've been associated indirectly with Economistan for close to 3 years. So basically, I used to help them with their activities, basically training their interns and things like that. So prior to this, I was working in an organization, and then due to certain aspirations. I'm taking a short break and trying to get into a better opportunity. So hopefully that's that. And yeah, it's been a pleasure working with Reyansh and team for quite some time, and looking forward to the session and hope you guys get enriched by it.
Yeah, perfect, Manish. Manish, I guess so many people had so much aspirations from this budget. So many dreams were based on this particular budget of so many people, and rightly so that there are so many things which were talked about few months back. That there would be something which is a result of the Lok Sabha elections, which happened like few months back. So this there were certain predictions, and those predictions somehow turned out to be true. And this can be highlighted in several aspects. So we'll go into those aspects first. But before that, the focus of the budget, which this year was employment, skilling, MSMEs, and the middle class, right? So the keywords, the four keywords, if you look at employment, skilling, the third is MSMEs, and the fourth one you get is middle class. So the entire budget, if you look at it, it doesn't have much more. If you consider the last key term, the middle class, it doesn't do much for them, right? If you consider the keywords, because the keywords are the main thing, because they're if you're laying stress on the focus of the budget on these four keywords, then something should be there for every keyword per se, right? Because other things
Exactly.
might be separated for a while, but yes, but if you are mentioning your focus on four particular areas, then you should do something for all those areas, right? So as always, we see every year after the budget being presented by our honorable finance minister that this there is nothing for the middle class, and the same memes, and you see all those viralities on the social medias or even television, the print media, it's everywhere that it's not having much more for the middle class people. So I'm why I'm starting from this is because I also belong to that particular category. So the the anxiety, the anger is also there. So I guess there are certain areas which we need to focus on, like as an Indian economy, participant. We need to focus on certain areas which is still lagging, and somehow it is not wrong to say that the entire budget is somehow looking like a capitalist approach from the past few years. What
Yeah, I can totally agree with you, Riyansh, because considering the current budget, what I've actually observed is mainly highlighting, like you said, the MSME, the middle class, and so on and so forth. But on the ground reality, do you, I mean, it's not completely reflecting, right? Like if you see, look at the example of the middle class. I mean, for example, they're highly taxed, right? Considering the amount of taxes that we have, I mean, and rising the interest, I mean, tax slabs from 3 lakhs upwards, it doesn't make sense. So invariably you are like giving a huge chunk, I mean, a sizable chunk of your earnings to the government. But I mean, it should reap some benefit for the citizens as well, right? And I don't see, I mean, me as a citizen or as you as a citizen, you should be able to tell us much. I mean, we can actually tell much better like what the ground reality is. And it's not justified completely from their end. And and if you talk about the employment front as well, um, it's a very big question right now, Riyansh. I mean, like think about it. We have close to, when we are inching close to more than a crore of people in our country in terms of population, and giving opportunities to every single people and that are there on the ground. And imagine the number of graduates and the postgraduates that are being churned out every single year. Do you think everybody would be able to get the right opportunities? I mean, definitely not. And where do the jobs come from? And from the budget per se, when you're highlighting the MSMEs and the agricultural sector, which is like, I mean, I don't see the sense of it because, see, if you see the agricultural sector, it's mostly semi-skilled and skilled, unskilled labors that's involved, right? And if you see the current generation of population, it's mostly highly skilled people that we are churning out. Mostly, maybe they are from the technical institutions or from the pristine institutions like St. Stephen's, or you name the institutions, you have the graduates there. I mean, where do we find the opportunities from for them, right? And I don't know where where the employment is right now, because if you see the different sectors, all the sectors are supposedly showing a significant slowdown per se. And definitely it is a very concerning issue because, I mean, if you see from the US perspective, they are also like going through a significant slowdown. And it has actually shown a lot of ripple effect to all the economies across the globe. And in India does feel the pinch because we have seen in recent times the number of cutbacks on jobs on many of the uh, companies such as Microsoft. You name the tech companies, you have the job cuts there. And definitely the fresh graduates out here and even the experienced individuals out here are definitely finding it difficult to find the right opportunity out there. And yeah, it's not, it's just the budget in a, old budget in a new bottle. There's nothing more. We have not done anything significant in this regard, but yeah, this is what it is.
exactly, even if you look at it from the other perspective, like not per se for the improving the unemployment aspect of it, right? Even if for training the new people, and giving the proper, proper training programs or skilling programs. They have launched several programs. They say that this is the figure that this much people have been skilled, but the figures are very, it doesn't look very, realistic if you say for their employment aspirations for the future per se. Like if you go for this particular, they have also announced several schemes. So they have given some, they have dissected into five schemes for employment and scaling. So which first timers, job creation, manufacturing, and support to employees and all those things, employers and all those things, the central scheme. So they have given a lot of schemes, but like all the previous budgets, we don't see that clarity on how, like how on ground they are going to make it happen. Like if you look at the policies of the previous budget policies as well, you won't get the entire sense that what is the reality which is going to be there. Yeah, it's there in the paper, but it's not really reflecting in the real terms, and that is exactly
Exactly.
visible everywhere. So it
And
not
the one more very tricky portion of the budget was something related to first-time employers, right? I mean, first-time people getting employed. I mean,
exactly.
I found it very strange because how are they going to like identify first-time employee? I mean, people getting employed for the first time, and how are they going to get the transfers done? I mean, uh, I mean,
Yes,
logically speaking, we have a
you
huge employee. I mean,
you
if
see,
you okay, let me
there's a
put.
also
Yeah,
there's
sorry.
a clause attached to it. There's also I have just gone through it. It is a clause that there is 15,000 up to 15,000 provided to them. That is also in three installments.
Exactly. How are you going to provide that? From
In
where is
the
the money
rising
coming
era,
from?
in the rising inflation era, when inflation is rising every year by at least somewhere close to 0.5% every year, almost, you are giving up to 15,000 salary, that too in three installments. How is that going to help?
It's not going to help, Priyansh, because see, considering the rate of inflation that we have, that it's like currently at around 5.5%, and we are still trying to reach the 2% target, which is the bare minimum amount that any economy should be sustaining in. I mean, it's very difficult, Riyaj, when considering the rising cost for every damn thing that we're paying. For example, the food that we eat, especially the pulses, it's significantly high in prices. And also the vegetables that, I mean, I mean, we don't have to say the rising I mean, prices of the vegetables per se. I mean, it's unbearable. I mean, in 15,000, I mean, it doesn't,
You name it,
I
not
mean, it doesn't
a
show
basic.
justified. I mean, it's not justified, right?
Exactly, Manish. When you talk about the food inflation, you name it, whatever products, the basic products. We are not talking about the, the highly uh, those vegetables or those fruits which the mostly the upper class people afford it, but the basic fruits or even the basic vegetables like onions or potatoes, or you can simply name tomato, which is soaring right now. So,
Exactly.
and it's not happening for the first time. It has been happening each and every year, and it has not been corrected.
I
And
mean,
where
it's not possible, Ryanj. It is seriously not possible to bring down the prices considering we have a lot of issues. It's not only pertaining to India, it's the same issue everywhere. But what we have to do right now is the policies that we are coming up with should actually uh, not only try to curtail or reduce the effect that we are getting right now, but at least control it. I mean, at least the minimum control is needed for at least controlling the inflation per se, but I don't see that in the budget or even from, I mean, if you consider the central bank of a country, I mean, they are doing their bit, but I think the policies that are coming from the government should actually support
complement
our, yeah,
this,
support the citizens. Yeah.
there's no complement if you see that in terms of RBI's policies and in terms of Indian government's policies, there to some extent there isn't any complement. They are not complementing each other.
I mean, yeah, they're going in two different directions, right? Yeah, I
Exactly.
can get that. Yeah.
And even also there's a small point of being highlighted by one of my CAs. Like there's one of my CA friend. He highlighted all the very key pointers when you talk about these things. Uh, there isn't any particular movement in terms of what's it? Uh, what's it? There was something going on about the taxes. There wasn't any movement in terms of the taxes. We are talking a lot about improving the lifestyles of the people, reducing our taxes.
Exactly.
But what is happening is that nothing is being done on that front. That how the taxpayers, like say for example, people those who are earning 8 crores, 10 crores, or even 50 crores, will still have to pay the same amount of tax. Like same slab will
I
stay in
mean,
the
they've
same
actually
slab.
changed the tax base. Yeah, true.
They'll stay in the same slabs. From my point of view, a tax slab should be there for the extremely high earning individuals, because if you are taking inspiration from the major economies of the world, like say for US, UK, or for any other major economies, you
Okay,
can see the tax structures over there. If they are charging more taxes, they literally give out to the individuals. They literally give out to the citizens. But if you look at our nation, you might get that in a few states. You might get that in a few cities, but it's very rare to find even in the half part of the nation. Like the justification of the tax rates. If you are charging an individual, if say for example, if an individual is earning 7 lakhs in year 2022, and if he grows to somehow 15 lakhs or 16 lakhs, ultimately his tax rates go way too much high, and he will have to pay a lot
exactly,
of
Ryanj. And
taxes.
I'm totally surprised by the fact that I think not in the last budget, but the previous to that budget, I think
2021,
they have actually
2022
changed.
and 23, that was
Yeah, I think it was like until 5 lakhs they said there would be no taxes, and then suddenly in this budget we see from 3 lakhs. I mean, imagine from 3 lakhs onwards you have to pay a minimum of
5%,
5%.
5%
I
taxes.
mean, wow. I mean, the change in the narrative of the current budget was like very drastic, I must say, because I think I mean, you should give it to them because it is mainly driven by the inflation cost right now. I mean, you can't blame them, but it is the fact. I mean, inflation must be driving the kind of deficit that we have right now, and maybe they're trying to reduce the burden from the government side, but then 3 lakhs and above would be taxed. I mean, it's very shocking for me, at least in this current day and age. But yeah,
Exactly.
we
No,
can't blame them.
you can either channelize the taxes from, that's why I'm suggesting that there should be a slab for the highly extremely high earning salaried employees that who are earning
It
8
is there,
crores.
but I think they have not stretched the amount of, I mean, taxes that they have to be paying. But then, yeah, they have, I mean, it's not there yet.
Exactly. It's not there on the papers, and it's not there in the practicality as well. Say it's not the cry of everyone who is paying the taxes or who is not paying the taxes, but the thing is, those who are paying the taxes are bearing the load of those as well who are not paying the taxes.
Exactly. True that. I totally
that's
get it.
that's pretty bad for the entire nation or even the government, because they should, if they are doing so many awareness programs for several products, say, I'll be very frank on this, like you can see that several government professionals or even the government people are there at the launch of several products of different companies, the big companies of India. So if they can do that sort of promotion for the private companies, or say for those businessmen, then the government should also create some awareness for their campaigns or for their schemes, not only just bringing out the scheme and launching it in the entire nation and putting it at the heads of the different state government. That is not the ideal approach, what I feel is, because if you not make the entire nation literate or aware of the schemes and how you can achieve those things, then how are you going to give out to the, like, how are you going to justify your policies?
I don't know, Riyansh, to be honest. I mean, the current budget basically tried to appease, basically tried to please their uh, coalition partners, basically Bihar and Andhra Pradesh I mean, it's a significant chunk that these two states have got, and the rest of the states are still wondering what and
You
how
know,
are they going to get their significant share? Because rest
that's
of
the
the states
wonder.
do need their, yeah,
That's the wonder.
sorry, Riyansh.
No,
Yeah,
that's the wonder how you can see that, there's a specific stress on a few states, like not few, even only the or the three states are there. And if you could figure out, no, there are, these are those states which in, I will not make it political, but which in the current government is not able to lay their strong foothold.
exactly.
And they can lose out on these seats if they are not going to do something more for these states.
I mean, it is basically trying to please their allied partners for now because this budget is basically, I mean, it's kind of a, I
In
mean, it's a thin line for, I mean, it may be, make it or break it kind of situation for the government because it's a brand new government. It's a coalition government. It's not a, like a government won by a majority, right? So it is very difficult. I mean, yeah, I mean,
but
it is definitely seen in the budget as well.
it looks clearly that it's not a budget for the nation. It clearly looks like a budget for your government to save your government.
Exactly. I mean, there's no two ways about it. I totally agree. Yeah.
Exactly. We can clearly put in caps, and this could be the caption of our podcast. So no, yeah. Moving forward, like we have been like I also belong to Bihar, and there are several things I promised to Bihar, and this has been a thing for Bihar, that keeping the particular government, Bihar government, the party which is ruling the Bihar government, keeping those them in sync is having a special thing, which is giving a special status to Bihar. That is that has been ignored yet again. So what I'm trying to come forward to is that that particular special status gives a lot of opportunities for the state, right? And if you are not giving that, you are somehow trying to keep your keep the schemes to yourselves and to some specific states. So that is a altogether different scenario. But you are bringing funds for Bihar in those area which already creates a lot of distress for the state. Because if you see the entire history of Bihar, like how Bihar has evolved from the past 15 to 20 years, which we had a lot of issues. That was the infrastructure is the only main area which creates a lot of trouble for the entire state. So
True.
uh, they should have done something, like even if you want to please the state, you can do something for the ground root level. Like you could have put up some money for the education enhancement of the education policies, medical facilities, and all those things, because those are very basic needs. Because even if you look at
I mean, yeah. Sorry.
one
Yeah.
more point on
Carry on.
this. So
Yeah.
even
Sure.
if you look at the entire state, entire nation, you'll figure out that Bihar is at the bottom if you consider in terms of literacy rates. In terms of poverty as well, Bihar is way too worse. So it is something which should be taken in consideration, not only for the pleasing of the state. You should consider the key points, and it's not the state thing with only Bihar. It's with what Odisha. It's with you name the this northeast side of the India. There are so many issues relating to those aspects, and none of them is getting better off with the central government policies. All of them are doing something on their own to get themselves up. And Odisha is a fine example of it.
Exactly. I totally agree. Riyansh, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. These developmental policies should have been carried out over time. I mean, like considering we have been independent for close to 70 years, 70 plus years, if we had started way back, say 45 or 50 years back,
Hmm.
this amount, this humongous amount for development of certain states wouldn't have come. Think about it. Like if you can split all the amounts, like in say in a 5 year period, significant five-year period, considering that's how the government is kind of elected over time, right? If it was evenly spread out, our nation would have been, I mean, the entire nation would have been in a better picture, right? Say in terms of in education, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of um, the technological advancements, in terms of the industries that we might have had. Suddenly pumping in a significant amount. I mean, that to a huge amount, which you have not seen over a span of like for the past 20 to 30 years. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I mean, honestly speaking, I don't see them spending the entire amount for the entire 1 year, considering it's a one fiscal year that you are allocating this much amount. It won't be significantly utilized for any, I mean, of all the policies that they have highlighted. I mean, it would take time, right? Considering the amount of resources that we might need, the amount of people that need to be employed for development of all the infrastructures and all the um, works that needs to be carried out, be it for sanitation, be it for transport, be it for um, uh, job creation or whatnot. It does take time, and the amount that is being given to all the states, I mean, I mean, I don't have any words to explain, but it is very ridiculous to see such huge amounts being splurged to only certain states to kind of in the name of development. But yeah,
It's not
I mean,
logical to,
it's
it's
very
not logical at any uh, point of view. Like it's not logical from any of the point of view to give out such huge funds to particular states and to completely ignore some of the states which do need those funds. And you are, you are putting aside 11 lakh 11,000 and 111 crore for the capex of the industrial government, like industrial infrastructure development, right? Which is 3.4% of our GDP. So if you give out us this amount of chunk to infrastructure, then what are the key areas you want to focus on? Like as I rightly pointed in the very beginning, that it is more of like a capitalist budget, which I keep on saying for this government's budget, that this has been the capitalist approach since a few years. So, and you are launching projects, and we are launching projects for solar energy, you're launching projects for say for energy efficiency, eradication of the climate change and all those things. So if you are bringing all those things, so you should, and there is no such specification of the amounts if you talk about all those things,
exactly.
which is the key concern. Like if you are able to figure out an amount, and if you are able to you can estimate the amount of the infrastructure development, you can estimate the amount for tourism development, and you can estimate the amount for all sorts of different areas for different sectors. But if you are unable to estimate the amounts for the climate change areas, which is the primary concern for the entire nation, excluding a few cities, not even the states, excluding a few cities,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's the most important concern what India is facing, apart from the population boom and all those things, because that is something which controls a lot of stuff. And there
exactly.
isn't any specific figure. You know, if you look at it from different aspects, there is so much of manipulation in terms of figures, which I don't, I'm unable to digest that. Why is this a constant thing with this budget thing? Like if you look at this government's budget, each and every year, if you analyze it from different point of views, you'll figure out there is so much of manipulation in terms of figures. There isn't clarity on the figures of several, activities or several sectors. There's no clarity. Yes, they have given
I mean,
funds, but
yeah, exactly. It's very strange. And I was actually very keen to look at the agricultural scheme of part of the budget, but then, I mean, it was very shocking because we had, like, I think for the last 5 years or last 7 years, we had the problem of MSPs, and we know the kind of problems we have faced in Delhi and especially farmers across the country. I mean, nothing significantly talked about the MSPs or but they have talked about something regarding improvement of say natural farming, improvement of oil seeds and pulses. I mean, like, okay, I mean, all that is well and good, and improving the supply chain and all those aspects. But considering the prices for your goods, and basically that's their livelihood, right? You have to give what is rightful to the farmers. But I mean, they've not highlighted anything. I thought at least they would have passed I mean, they would should have actually spoken about passing a ordinance or a law or something of that sort to kind of improve the farmers' conditions and things like that, but I don't see it. But invariably, they have spoken about improving the agricultural infrastructure, and I don't know.
It also surprises me that this could be the scenario which happened with the Green Revolution. It reaped a lot. It reaped a lot of
I
benefits
mean,
for the
the
nation.
times were different, right, Yansh? The
No,
times were different
it
because
reaped a lot. It reaped a lot for the nation. No, the Green Revolution reaped a lot for the nation. But what it did to the post effect of the Green Revolution was very bad for the several states. The field was worsened off, the soil erosion was there, the quality of the soil got reduced. So it's more of like the same aspect that government was trying to do a lot of for the farmers in the beginning years of their tenure. But now what is happening is that they are completely ignoring the farmers. Like you can see the farmers protest happening almost once in a year. It is happening.
true,
Name it.
they're definitely true.
You can name it any state. Like it can happen in a particular state, it can happen in a particular city, but it's happening in India each and every year. And if you are ignoring them in your annual budget, it's a very big question mark for the entire nation. Not only on the government, but for the entire nation. Because you
Exactly.
talk about organic farming, you talk about enhancing the quality of the farm produce, as well as you want to introduce, enhance the quality of the life standards of the farmers. You want to introduce, make well of the farmers. You want to make India the make in India thing. But if you are not doing for the your India is known as a nation of agriculture, right? And if you're not ignoring them in your annual budget, it is a very big question mark for the entire nation.
I mean, it's very baffling to see the kind of headway that this budget has made to the people when it has brought in a lot of mixed reactions per se, and um, it's the same thing with you and me as well as the conversation progresses. Uh, it's more of constructive criticism rather than
Indeed, indeed, indeed. It's
yeah,
not that negative. We are not criticizing in a negative manner, but there are certain things which should have been there. There are certain things which have been clearly ignored. There are certain things which uh, everyone wants, and there are certain things which I guess uh, as a union government you should keep in mind, not just to keep the seats and all those things, but there are certain things which needs to be taken care of if you are running a nation. And it's quite astonishing to see like how gracefully you have ignored several things, how gracefully you have uh, manipulated the terms, and you have laid the focus. You have made your focus on this the key terms, but you are ignoring the key terms in the entirety of the budget. This is no way from any sense. It is true to the understanding of any individual. And by reducing the, you can also figure out a particular thing. They have reduced the customs duty on the gold and silver. If you
yeah.
have gone through it, yeah, what it makes for the richer section of the India, they can store these things a lot.
I mean,
No, I
they
I
have
somehow
not gone to the grassroots. Basically, yeah, I mean, I get your point. Basically, you're saying that it's not reached to the grassroots level of the population, right? I mean, it's definitely true. But then, I mean, they are trying to do their bit to probably please their uh,
allies
whatever. So
allies be
basically, what I'm yeah,
sorry to
sorry,
interrupt
yeah.
Manish, but they are basically trying to please their allies, be it in terms of the political parties or be it in terms of the business houses. That's what is happening.
It may be the case, Ryansh, but I really need to see how far this particular aspect is going to continue because after a point, I think they would kind of segue into a different approach, probably try to kind of like protest in some way. I don't know because right now it looks like it's more for the mid, like the budget is more for the middle class and the upper class section of the society because it doesn't really make sense because majority of I mean considering the majority of the people uh, in the country's been like maybe earning from 0 to 3 lakhs. That's basically what our people
Which
earning right now.
the majority of the
So
population falls in that category only.
yeah, and it's like significant. Maybe the budget is mostly targeting the major cities and the metropolitan cities. But I think from my point of view, it's maybe the case, but I don't know how the our viewers might feel. But if you look at the village, I mean, the people who are working in the village sectors or things like that, probably they would not be able to connect with the current budget. Like, what is in there for us? We as farmers or we as people who are making our livelihoods in the village economy, maybe in the small scale cottage industries or something of that sort, how are we able to connect to the budget? I mean, there's a significant disconnect there as well.
Exactly, when you talk about the weaker section of the societies, like they have brought in some investment for the urban poor, but they have not considered rural poor at all. They have not named rural
Um,
poor in their entirety of the budget, which is a very it's a thing to laugh on. Because if you are considering
yeah,
in an economy which is, as you mentioned that there is a majority of the portion of the India which still lives in that earning category of 0 to 3 lakhs, and if you are ignoring people below that, if you are ignoring people below the poverty thing, and that mostly of the population lives in that categories in the rural areas, and if you are ignoring the rural areas in your budget, that is also a big question mark for me. And also, giving out industries and all those things is very good for the nation, and we should have it. But if you are not considering their aspects, if you are not considering the grassroots people, then that is not a thing which you should be more proud of. And you should definitely think on changing some, like bringing a change to your mindsets if you are placing the budget for the entire nation. It's not for the
true,
some
very true.
some sections, some states, and some areas, but yes, it's for the entire nation, and these things should be considered while preparing the budget. And
Definitely true, Rians. Yeah.
it's also, to some extent, it's also surprising that how a particular person is being kept at the position for such a long time and still not getting those areas, because these things are getting highlighted each and every year, but it's being ignored consistently. That's the main
Hmm.
concern.
But see, Rians, it's more about how we as citizens are able to connect to the budget right now.
Correct. Correct.
It's like, I mean, we basically can't dictate the terms what needs to be in the budget or what need not be there in the budget, right? So, I mean, it all boils down to what our elected representatives feel, which is important, what is important for the people. So, basically, what they felt important is clearly being reflecting in the budget. So, that's the case. That's it.
Let's see what's more in there, because we have discussed more or less. We have discussed the key areas of the budget and what's missing in the budget. So we'll also bring our focus to a few areas. Let's shift our focus to those areas.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, Manish had to drop out. He he laid out his points and his views, and we are very thankful to him. And for remaining part, I'll continue with you guys. Like I'll continue sharing my thoughts, and I'll continue the analysis of the budget. As we rightly said that we have almost covered the entirety of the budget, but we'll have left out as for a few things which we mentioned that we'll be doing it right now. And so there are certain points which I want to highlight to you guys. So there are certain priorities for this budget. So the very first one being employment and skilling, and they have laid out certain schemes for the entire of the nations, for the entire nation, and the schemes are divided into basically three parts. So there are three schemes: Scheme A, Scheme B, Scheme C. So the scheme A is for the first timers. So what it basically means is that there will be direct benefit transfer of rupees up to rupees 15,000, which is given out in three installments, and it will be eligibility limit for this is around 1 lakh rupees per month. So basically, the scheme is expected to benefit around 210 lakh youths. So we'll see how much it yields to the entire youths. And the second one, which is very highlighted out, is the job creation in the manufacturing industry, in manufacturing sector. So what it tells is that they want to incentivize or give additional employment in the manufacturing sector. And this is also related to the first time employees. So basically, what is happening over here in the scheme is that people will be given a direct benefit to the employee as well as the employer with respect to their EPFO contribution in the very first 4 years of their employment. So basically, this scheme is around expected to benefit around 30 lakh youths. So it is there are so many things which is being highlighted in the budget for the new employers or new employees or basically the first time employees. So moving the support from the employees to the employers, there's a scheme 3 which says about that only. So basically what that means is that all the additional employment within a salary of 1 lakh per month will be counted, as well as the government will reimburse the employers up to rupee 3,000 per month for 2 years towards their EPFO contribution for each additional employee. So this is also expected to incentivize around additional employment of 50 lakh persons. So 30 lakh, 50 lakh, or 210 lakh youths. I don't know what is going to be coming and what is going to happen in reality. But yes, if something is to be, certain, then there's something good news for the first time employees. But what about the experienced ones and what about for those who have lost their jobs due to some issues or something? But they are not able to get some, employment or other things. We'll have to see about that. I don't think there's much more in this budget to talk about on that aspect. But yes, these are the certain things which is there, and also there's a small discussion about the participation of women in the workforce. So basically, there's no as such figures in the terms of women participation in the workforce. But yeah, it has been said that they will be given higher. There will be certain programs which will be giving a higher participation of women in the workforce, which will be also including the setting up of women's hostel so that they don't have to go away at away other places to stay and for which creates some sense of security issues. So all those things are being taken care of if the schemes are to be in place. And also there are certain market access being provided for the SHG enterprises, women-led enterprises. So we should see how much this brings to the table. But yeah, let's see what is going to come. And we are there to dissect things for you. Also, when we talk about moving on to the employment part, we when we talk about the skilling loans, that basically means that if there's some organization is working to enhance the skills of some individuals, then that the government will be providing some loans to them as well. So the model skill loan scheme will be revised to facilitate loans up to 7.5 lakh, which will be a guaranteed fund from the government end, and this is expected to help around 25,000 students per year. So, which is going to be a very good move. I can say that for sure, because if the funds are going to be channelized in a proper manner, then this is going to yield a lot for the individuals. Also, what's there in place for the what we can say for the 2024 and 25 people is that there's a sense of disbelief among the some different class of people. But yes, we can see what we can see from this budget is that there is some positivity on the part of unemployment, but that is very too minimal. I guess for a country of this much stature, this is not much from our perspective. And what we believe is that the certain expectations which are going to be there for the 2024 and 25 is that the markets and the gross market and the net market borrowings are going to be like estimated around 14.01 lakh crore and 11.63 crores, 63 lakh crores respectively. So these are all less than that of 2023-24, which is a good thing. Also, the total receipts and all the total borrowings are, they have also shown a positive side. So the deficit is estimated around 4.9% of the GDP. So which is again a figure which I guess can be attainable, but we'll have to wait and watch what happens, what things unfolds in the later half of the year, because that's when the real game happens. And we can clearly see that several larger economies are suffering from recession as of now. So it's a thing still in discussion. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. And when the most talked about thing from this budget and was expected of this budget was a personal income tax rate, which we also discussed earlier on. So what is happening over here is in terms of figures when we talk about the standard deduction on for the salaried employees is increased to 75,000 rupees, which was earlier stated at 50,000 rupees. So similarly, so the deduction on the family pension or the pensioners is proposed to enhance from 15,000 to rupees 30,000 or 25,000. So this is going to provide some relief to the salaried individuals as well as the pensioners. So government has taken care of that aspect, but yes, that too, considering other factors, if you have some capital gains and all those things, those things are taxed, and those things have increased tax rates this time around. So uh, how is it going to be balanced out? Like those pensioners who are not having capital gains and all those things are maybe well off, but those who are having in this current time when the mutual funds and the stock markets and all those things are very common among the individuals, it's a question of thought. So apart from that, there are certain tax regime changes. The new tax regime has certain changes. So the slabs have been changed to a bit. Like the first slab states at 2 point like 0 to 3 lakh rupees at nil tax rate. And then when we talk about the next slab, it's 3 to 7 lakhs rupees, which is 5%. The 7 to 10 lakh rupees is 10%, 10 to 12 is 15, and 12 to 15 is 20%. And above that, anything above 15 lakh is taxed at 30%. So the salaried employees, maybe they can have some relief. And all that we can say is that the new regime selectors, new regime salaried employees, if they select the new regime, they are going to save up to 70,500 in income tax. So how do you guys you know, uh, analyze this thing for you and for your income tax? It's going to be your thought, and we are eager to hear those thoughts in the comments. So please drop in your comments. Also, we are open to some discussion. If you guys want to have some discussion over the particular any particular point of the budget, then we are eager to have those discussions. So please bring forward your thoughts, and we are going to get in touch with you, and we'll be definitely having a discussion with you guys, and we'll be having a podcast with you guys as well. We are open to having opinions and discussions from the audience as well. So basically, there are certain things which are going to happen, that there will be certain changes, like certain revenue changes, which is going to happen based on the new tax system announcements. So basically, if the government is set to earn about more than 37,000 crore as a revenue, so basically 29,000 crore in direct taxes and 8,000 crore in direct taxes. So which will be, it will be foregone, but about 30,000 crores rupees will be additionally mobilized. So the total revenue foregone will be 7,000 crore annually. So which is also a great figure if you look at it from the perspective of the tax. And all I'm concerned about is if the government is going to do a lot or even give a lot based on the tax corrections if they are doing to do so. So we will have to wait and see what happens. What happens at the end of the year, at the end of the year. We'll see what happens at the end of the you know 2024-2025 budget year, annual financial year. So what's there, we'll see. And what happened in the entire year, we'll also wait and see. We'll also do a small analysis of that, like what exactly went on in the year, like what were promised and what actually happened. So don't worry about that. We'll be bringing out you all those things, and we are there to give a brief analysis for all your things. And as we said right in the very beginning as well, and we are also closing it with it, we are opening the floor for you guys as well, that you have so many questions with you. Keep those questions with you. Send it to us. We'll try to answer all the questions in whatever way possible from our end. And yes, it's a budget and in our opinion, it's a budget for the corporates. Not corporates to be precise, but it's a capitalist budget as from the outlook. And if you go by the keywords, what it states in the focus areas, So that also is somehow not justified to full extent. But yeah, it's it's their opinion, it's their estimations and all those things. So let's see what turns out to be the ultimate result of the budget 2024 and 25 for the entire nation. And yeah, let's see and wait and watch what happens. And till then, I'll leave you guys with all those questions. Bring forward your questions, bring forward your queries regarding the budget, regarding your income sources and how are you going to be taxed and all those things. We'll try to answer all those questions, and we will also try to answer those questions which you have regarding the economic side of the Indian economy, like how are the government going to benefit and how are the government going to channelize all those resources based on the budget schemes what they have brought in. So yeah, thank you guys, thank you so much, and we are definitely going to bring you more videos. We are definitely going to bring you more content, and we are trying to bring in more long form content. So we'll definitely appreciate your patience as well as support, so that we get this motivation from you guys to bring a lot of variety and as well as good content. Yeah, we might be a bit late in terms of bringing content, but yes, we try to make sure that we bring the best content possible for you guys, so that you get the best and easiest understanding of the matter what we are trying to bring to you, right? Thank you guys, thank you so much. Do follow economicstan.official, and please subscribe to our economicstan channel on YouTube. This is going to support us and give us more motivation. And do follow us on social media platforms. It must be dropping somewhere, or it will be in the description. So thank you so much, guys. Namaste, and all the best for all of us. Thank you.